I thought instead of writing, I just use this because it's much quicker and take less time. You like the relationship article about the leadership to have, and that's an interesting thought, the viewpoint, and need to be well understood in a broader scheme of things too. What it says is not just the numbers and the logics in a narrow sense, but you have to have a extra sensory system, so to speak. In my presentation for the mini company, sometimes I use that when idea that when people make a presentation, just don't just follow the logic, but to see if they're energized, motivated, powerful, the light in their eyes. And that's the kind of thing that you need to have as an extra sense to evaluate the situation, especially at the top. And the guys who run the very advanced level of companies like Jeff Bezos and so on and so forth, they have that sense. And the reason why is that they have gone through lots of pains and operational issues and the people issues, so that they have a keen sense of what are the blockages to run the good business. And often just going through the PowerPoint presentation in the top management level meeting, that's not good enough. And Jeff Bezos, for example, is not depending so much on those logic tight and perfect presentation, but rather to go ask back and forth the questions to clarify things, to know the level of detail if they're following up. And that connects to the discussion of this relationship on top of what the typical manager may do. And there's one other technical review from MIT I just read, and that was about the hospital intensive care unit, and they're using the AI to process such that their mortality rate may go down, because that's the highest level in all the hospital operations there. And the point is, again, to identify the blockage, the problem areas in the organization. You have to have a good sense, and in this case, they did study it and used AI and is using and to experiment the idea of how much can be improved right now. And they're showing some visible result, the possibilities. It's the same as running the hospital at the top level and identifying the areas to reduce the defect rate. So the discussion that I go through, as you know, the Minicamp Lean, is related to actually to do the similar thing, to find the blockage. In Lean, it's reducing the inventory level, but also Minicamp and Glass Wall, you share the information so that the pain of the organization is understood by many people. Red and red, not green, all that, and people become more quick to respond, as if to know where the ball is in the soccer field. And if you don't do it, it's just too late in today's changing business. So you need to do this, obviously, and for the organization to have the capability so that the people can respond to it. And that's the PDCA, CAPD, and the annual report, monthly report, and all that issues. And the open day is the way to motivate and stimulate so that the brains are not at the top level, but everywhere else in the organization. So that's the bottom line, and just closing the loop to what we are talking about here. And just the last couple of points that I want to share is that, I spend time to share ideas with people and exchange, and that's the point of contact, and I detect some issues from that and then postulate, imagine the areas of the blockage in the organization. So I poke into it, and of course my poking and probing may not be so detailed and often enough, but still I can possibly see that picture of how the organization may or may not be moving into the right direction. So I'll just give you a couple of examples. One is there's this operations guy, I forgot his name, but his monthly report is like 160 pages. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, he's just occupying in his brain what is good and how he does it. And I addressed this to the CEO there, that there's something wrong about it. I was talking that a couple of times, maybe 3 times, and nothing has happened. So it's the blockage that I see it, not just from the number point of view, but the behavior point of view, if you follow me what I'm saying. So that's just one. And the other example I'm afraid, and I just want to make sure, is that just asking a question more than anything else at this level, is that your innovation group, the approach seemed to be a little bit fuzzy, and also related to the Canadian guys and how they're proposing the software that I questioned to you. And that's my intuitive sense. I mean, logically it may make sense, but managerially the approach is being taken is not addressing the people's behavior, but depending upon the software to do the people's behavior to be well understood, whatever. I don't know if that's how they're approaching it. But I'm just raising the issue here that from my point of view, that doesn't sound like a good idea. I said it before, and I'm just saying it, and see if you can respond in any logical, meaningful manner. So that's one. The other thing is about the HL. I guess if I can just add one more. The HL guy, for him to understand this whole scheme of things, I'm not sure. It requires some deeper level of understanding of the organization, the strategy, and the people, and the relationship, as you may have picked up from this article. I may be stretching out a little bit more, but I just thought to mention to you, not to conclude anything, but make sure that you ask the right question, and to make sure that the connecting all the dots is done better, so that the blockage, in the body, you don't want to have a heart attack or any big issues in the organization. The same thing, you can avoid that. So the concept is the same for Lean, mini company, AI, deep learning, and for the leaders to see the relationship, but not depending upon the numbers and so forth, because numbers are too late anyway. And the leader has to have a vision to move ahead. And those are the kind of things that you might want to get into. The way to do it is that you may do what being discussed here in the article and what I was talking about, but while you're doing it, you want to develop the insurance system, so to speak, so that the managerial information is processed across the organization better, and you can detect where the problems are, and you can address it, and for people to have more empowerment. And therefore, with those many companies succeeding, you bring in this HR aspect of it, so that you can have the people going up into the right direction with the right skills and mobilizing the whole organization. So instead of writing, I thought I'd just say this and hope you get the point. Have a good day.